Just a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to talk about the definitions of the various objects and their functionality. We're going to go over some relationships between the various objects. We're going to talk about how to upload data, which can be a little bit tricky on these objects, and then we're going to talk about the new functionality in the price book entry. So to get started, we're going to look at this is from the schema builder in Salesforce.com. So we're going to talk about each of these objects in turn. So first of all, we'll start with price book. You're probably familiar with the price book. It is an object in Salesforce that when you actually look at it in Salesforce, it helps you to see which products are available in a particular price book, what their prices are, and that way you can segment your sales to, let's say, a distribution channel or a retail channel and have pricing segregated among those distribution channels. When you look at the actual object in the Salesforce schema, you'll notice that there is actually no price contained in the price book object. When you're creating products and price books, you'll generally create the price book first. But notice again, there is no price within the actual price book object. Next, we're going to look at the product, and this holds just general information that can apply to the product no matter what price book it's associated with. So this is things like the description, the name of the product, what family, maybe a product code if that goes along with it. But you'll notice also that, again, there is no price associated with the product inside the actual product object. Next, we're going to move on to the price book entry. Now, this is where we're starting to get some prices. So the price book entry is actually a junction object for the price book and the product. It creates a many-to-many relationship between products and price books. So many price books can have one or more different products, and many products can have be listed with one or more price books. So you can see here that we have actually several prices listed here on the price book entry. We have the list price, we've got the standard price, and then we can opt here to use the standard price or not use the standard price. And one thing you'll find that is common with these three objects that we are talking about is that they can either be active or inactive. So that's really a Boolean checkbox, so that active can either be true or false. But this is where the price is actually stored, is here on the price book entry. Now again, we're just in the background here. We actually haven't seen anything as far as prices that would be in our user interface. When we get to that, we're actually going to be moving on to our next object, which is the opportunity product. And for sake of clarity, if you're using an API tool such as Data Loader or something similar to that, the opportunity product is also known as opportunity line items in the API tool. So don't be confused if you don't find opportunity products there. They are called opportunity line items in API tools. Well, at least in Salesforce Data Loader, newer data loaders such as Data Loader IO may refer to it as opportunity products. So the opportunity product object is a junction object between the product. You can see here the product and the opportunity, one thing that I should back up here and explain is these lines that connect these objects. So the one line here represents a one, the three lines here represents a many. So this line here indicates a one-to-many relationship. Now, because this has a one-to-many from price book, one-to-many from the product, both here, that creates a many-to-many relationship between the price book and product by using the price book entry, or in the case of the opportunity product, it's many-to-many between the product and opportunity. Many products can be associated with many opportunities and vice versa through the opportunity product object. So we're going to go now to Salesforce and do a little bit of walking through the user interface and looking at products and price books. So we can see here, let's go to the All tabs here, and I'm going to open price books in a new tab, and then I'm also going to open products in a new tab. So when we create a new price book, we should mention that there is always a standard price book. Even if you have not created any price books at all, in the background, in the database, there is a standard price book that exists, which all of the products are automatically associated to. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new price book. You can see we've already got one here for wholesale. We are going to create one for retail stores. And then we will save that. So you can see here we don't have any products associated with that. In order to do that, we would click Add. Well, let's go over to the products and see what products we have here in our org. These are some products that when you create a demo org or a developer org, they come automatically loaded in. They're just a little bit of really basic data that is contained within a developer org, and so they've created some products, and we're going to use those. But just as an example of how you can create a new product, just click the New button. We're going to call it Sample Product. Now, one thing you make sure is that it is checked as active when you create that. You can add a product code in the description. This goes back to the schema that we were looking at. Those fields are actually on the product object. So we'll save that. Now notice that we did not save any price on that product. In order to add a price, we need to add a standard price here. Notice this is in a related list, which means that by doing this, we are actually creating a price book entry. So we're going to say the standard price on that is $99.99, and we will click Save. So now we have that, and now that we've added a standard price, we can actually go and add it to a price book. We didn't have this option to add it to a price book before. We had to add a price to do that. So we're going to go ahead and add it to a price book. We've got the standard price book, like I had mentioned, which is active. We've got the wholesale price book, which is also active. And notice that the retail store's price book that I created is not yet active. So I'm going to open that in another tab. I'm going to edit that and mark that as active. Notice that there's a checkbox for Is Standard Price Book. You won't have to worry about that, but when you look at the standard price book, you'll notice that that box is checked. So we'll save that. And so we'll go back here to the price book section. I'm going to refresh the page on here, and we'll notice that Now we've got that all three price books are active. So I can add this to several price books at the same time. In fact, I can add it to all of them at the same time. So click select there, and notice that once I've done that, it's going to ask me what price I want associated with that. This is what we're doing here, is creating price book entries, one for each of our price books. So in the retail stores, I'm going to say whatever the standard price is, use that. Actually, we're going to say that for the standard price book. Whatever the standard price is, use that. For retail stores, we're going to say that the list price is $99.99. That could change, so we're not going to link that with the standard price. And wholesale, we're going to say that the price on that is $79.99. So we'll click save, and now you can see that we have price book entries here. They're just called price books, but that's how that works. Now, in order to add those to an opportunity, now we will go to an opportunity. We're going to go to an existing opportunity. Again, this is sample data. We have a few products here, but I'm going to actually choose, notice that we are on the wholesale price book. I want to use the retail stores price book. This is one thing that you'll want to be aware of, is that you can only use one price book per opportunity. You cannot split it between various price books. And once I change that price book, notice that it says here, you've modified the price book, all products are going to be deleted. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I do want to do that. And so it deleted those because I cannot have two price books on one opportunity. I've changed that to the sample product, which is the only product that I've added to that retail price book, which we just created. I'm going to select that. I'm going to enter the quantity. Remember, on the opportunity line item, this is where we actually enter the quantity. So in the schema, just jumping back over to our schema here, we can see that here on the opportunity product, we have the quantity, the sales price, the subtotal, the total price, the discount. And notice that this is a lookup to the opportunity and to the product, the junction object that we were talking about. Now that we've looked at the UI a little bit, let's go back here and look at the schema. Notice again that on the product, basic information about the product, no prices there. Price book, basic information, pretty much just a name. Is this a standard price book? Is it active? That's about all that you have in the price book. The price book entry is where it starts getting a little bit interesting. We can add a price, we can do a list price, standard price, determine whether we want to use that standard price always or not. And then once we get to the opportunity product, there is where we really add some detail, the discount, date, the description, another list price. Well, actually, it'll just bring the list price from the price book entry. There's actually some code in the background that Salesforce includes just out of the box that creates an opportunity product from a price book. Notice that there's no connection directly from these, but there is a common many-to-many relationship through the product with the price book and the price book entry. So the code creates a new opportunity product when we add that product to an opportunity, and we can add these details here. So going back to the user interface, we are going to do a quantity of 5. Let's do 10 of those. We'll click Save, and now here on the opportunity, we've got a quantity of 10, sales price of $99.99, and so our expected revenue on this one is, or I'm sorry, our amount is just the quantity times the sales price, so $99.99 $4.90. This is this amount which you can normally enter data in once you add a product and a price book to the opportunity. Notice the lock icon over here, it becomes a locked field for editing. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger just so we can see it a little bit better. And notice the expected revenue is $499.95, which is 50% of the actual amount, because we've got a 50% probability in this stage of the opportunity. So let's see. So going back to our overview here, so we've talked about the definitions and functionality, and we've talked about the objects and relationships. Now let's talk about uploading data when using products and price books. So, if you're using an API tool such as the Salesforce Data Loader, Jitterbit Data Loader, IO, or other ones, there's a very specific order that you'll need to use in order to get that data to go in correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that order and why the order matters on that. So now the first two uploads that you would do through the data loader are price books and products. Actually, either one of these can be done first. It doesn't matter if you do products or price books first, since either one of them can exist independently. Now, it's really here on the price book entry where the order starts to matter. These two have to come first. Price book has to exist and a product has to exist before you can make a price book entry. So when you've got the price books loaded, the products loaded, you've got the price book ID and the product ID, you'll need those to put those in the appropriate fields in the price book entry. And so we can see here, price book entry, we've got the price book field, the product field. These are both lookup fields to the respective objects, and this is where you'll put the IDs when you do the actual upload on the price book entry. Now, one thing that you'll need to know is that even if you're only loading to a custom price book, you will actually have to do an upload to the standard price book first. It's just something that Salesforce requires. If you try to do an upload to a custom price book without doing an upload to the standard price book first, it will throw errors and you'll have frustration to no end trying to figure out why it won't upload until you do some research and figure out that Salesforce requires you to upload it to the standard price book first. But once you do upload that to the standard price book, you can use the exact same upload file, simply change the price book ID from the standard ID to the custom ID, upload it again exactly the same way, and it will go into that custom price book nicely. Now, some of the differences when you're adding price book, now that will only make, to this point here, these first 4 steps, that will make it so that you can select products from price books in the user interface. So all that gets you to right there is being able to say, yes, I want to have this product available in this list. That's all you've done at that point. And of course you can do, tens or dozens or hundreds of price book entries at a time with the data loader tool. But what this does, this last one, the opportunity line items, is you're adding information that will then put the product actually on the opportunity itself, so that when you go to an opportunity that product is related. And so we can see here in this upload that when you do the opportunity line item, that's when you'll enter the date that this was added to the opportunity, the discount, and the other fields that we've gone over on that. So that's how you do the upload.